at least a couple weeks here. So having him swap down into support, interesting choice to say the least. But Game 3, Beyond Gaming versus S9 for Beyond Gaming to secure that playoff spot. If they can get a win here, they've got it.
Yeah, and here we go, the anticipation. The game has been paused, but I think more importantly, we do see YJY on that Rakan and Keres is on that Xayah. So unless it is about the 10th graphic bug, that will be the lane,
I guess so.
The situation. So
we kind of doubted them, but they've actually just gone and swapped their AD and support around. I'm not sure if this is a Keres just saying, fine, I'll do it myself sort of situation, or maybe YJY just wants to change of pace. We're not too sure.
Yeah, and oftentimes I feel like the support and the AD carry, both sort of in solo queue at least, they kind of just swap. Like if you're off role as AD carry, you generally are playing support just because you understand trading patterns at minimum in that lane. So I wouldn't be terribly surprised if these players each have experience on their given roles in this game, but I'm not sure. Maybe just trying things out, because obviously they will be competing again next split, and ultimately for them that's where they have to look towards at this point of the season. But man, I'm actually excited to see that.
Me too. How crazy would it be if this ends up being the winning combination? They've just discovered it far too late into the split. I guess they'll have split 2 to kind of refine it, but it would be pretty insane if they managed to take down BYG with this role swap. I think role swaps are always, in a way, they can often have like a honeymoon period, sort of, where you're kind of like, trying out new things. It feels like suddenly a whole different bunch of champions are open to you. But what ends up normally happening is just, at some point, the other players in their roles are just better than you. They've played a lot longer in that role than you have, and you've got a lot to work on. So let's see if it works here.
Yeah, I think interestingly enough, though, you wouldn't even really know. If they do win this game, you don't really gain too much off who, performs better, because ultimately they did beat Beyond last time these two teams matched up. So do you even learn that much about that situation? I'm not sure, but it will certainly be interesting to see. I do, however, think bot lane is most likely going to be playing for scaling this game, and I have to feel like top lane is likely to be the most volatile. Cassante, we have seen get a lot of solo kills, and I have to say it, Relia has been solo killed a lot too, so.
He certainly has. Relia, I feel like might have been solo killed the most out of anyone in the league. But last time these two teams played, he was the one that carried. YGY misses the knock-up. This is going to have to back away. And that's going to allow the Zeri Lulu to start to take quite a bit of control in this matchup, which is kind of expected. I feel like Zeri Lulu a lot of the time does bully out at least the first couple levels. But at the same time, Rakan, Xayah, no slouch in that laning phase.
Yeah, I think possibly that W missing changes how the sort of level 1 goes. Obviously, if you land that W, followed up by the Xayah W, you do a lot of damage. But all lanes seem to be as normal, and I didn't see any peculiar runes. We have the first strike on Syndra, fairly standard, as well as phase rush from Ryze.
Calumnia doing a good job of kind of minimizing 1116 early on in this game. As expected, is going to get priority in the matchup, but manages to get the ward. And so far, 1116 hasn't been able to put, any pressure on the map in terms of wards or just priority or anything like that. So definitely a nice start. I think you really want to try and keep this Ryze pushed in, keep him away from Relia's lane, and at least try to give him the best chance possible in that top matchup. Ward is dropped in the river there by Kyungyue before returning to the red. Has priority in his bot lane, so shouldn't feel too threatened on this at all, but the ward can provide a little bit of safety in that river. Mid lane, so far just trading back and forth. I think you're not expecting too much to happen, just really looking at who gets priority. So far, Calumnia seems to be the one favored. Kyungyue, though, he is going to sweep out, does spot the ward. That's going to make Calumnia a little more scared on this next wave. There is always the Ryze Flash EW. Covers a lot of distance. Point and click ganks it up. Yeah. Scuttle Crab is started.
Yeah, bot lane pressure, I feel, allowing for the Scuttle to be taken, as Relia is currently proxy farming. We see an engagement bot, and this looks like it's going to be a kill. First blood over to Keres.
Well, I guess we got our confirmation. Keras and YJY are the best bot lane in the league. They pick up the 2v2 kill on the Kino. They got 3 sums out of the enemy bot lane as well. Really important. The Kino is down flash, and YJY has flash up. So there's always that flash W that can come through on that Lulu for pretty much a guaranteed kill some other time later on in the lane. So really big win there from S9. And Feng now is denied away from creeps.
Yeah, look how cursed this wave position is as he's now getting engaged on by YJY. Good dodge of that knock up.
Yeah, he's going to do what he can to fix the wave. And I think at least for now, with Kino returning from the base, should be fine to crash some of these waves. But the really scary time is especially going to be closer to 6, or even just after S9's bot lane gets the reset and can come back, spend all their gold, and start looking for those all-ins again. I think whenever you lose your flash and die, that feels really bad, because it's almost another guaranteed death down the line if you're not careful.
Looking at top lane, huge advantage as Relia will land that stun. Lakai does dash away, but loses the majority of his health, and it's the wave's pushing away. Oh no, it's pushing back to him now, but man, Relia getting the best of this matchup in the early game at least.
Yeah, dealing a lot of damage, but whether or not it translates into anything, we're not sure. Because I think as a Relia versus Cassante, even if you're up 20 CS, you might actually be losing in terms of just kind of scaling. So hopefully can balloon that to something a little bit more. It's going to be difficult though. I think Beyond Gaming have managed to kind of stabilize this ball lane. Keras didn't manage to find a reset, so hasn't spent all that gold, and it does make it difficult for them to force another all-in, at least until they can get some of this gold spent.
Both junglers on the bottom side now, looking at that Raptors, although Fee are now headed down towards the bot lane. No flash on this Lulu, importantly. Will be seen by the vision.
Yeah, ward is cleared out. It's going to back away. Kino has to be very respectful until he gets the sums back. I have Kongwei pathing down as well. Keras here, I think he wants to try and push and find a reset. At the same time, doesn't want to end up giving Feng a better base than him. Is using feathers on the wave though. If you can try to get a base, it would help set up this drag. Beyond Gaming though, they're in the river. Kongwei 116, they have the Rise ult. S9 have to be aware though.
Yeah, both flashes are available, so they definitely have sort of a get-out-of-jail-free card. Nothing will happen there, though.
Yeah, it looks like they're just trading back and forth. Fear's in the area.
Yeah, Feng up ahead, but does have that flash. Lulu really is the one that has to be most careful here, but playing extremely respectfully.
Yeah, this is a 3v3. Kongwei's in the wings as well. I'd be kind of surprised to see either team go for this. Yeah, it looks like Fear is just... We spotted on a ward and is now going to back away. Catalyst completed in mid lane for the Rise. So perhaps can start to get a little bit of priority in this matchup. Which is pretty important, right? Because this bot lane remains kind of stagnant, at least for now. But once Rise can move down, potentially has the ability to break it open. And I think so far, S9... off to a pretty decent start. If you can neutralize the Rise, perhaps then you can just like play for those team fights where you have a pretty solid chance of winning out. And as a reminder, the first time these teams played, it was a lot of team fighting. Very long game. I can't remember how many kills, but over 48 minutes, I'm sure there were plenty.
Yeah, and it looks like up top now, Lakai's sort of getting the best of these short trades, although with that Q and the Vampire Acceptor, Relia will be okay to sort of just farm up and get some of that health back. But Bramble Vest completed on the Cassante means it's not as easy to do in team fights. As Kongwei looks top, we do see Vial use here on 1116. He will have to use the flash. He does live just, and you have to say that, honestly, probably the Catalyst there keeping him alive.
Very, very tanky with the Catalyst, as you said. Keeps him alive. Just pretty good. Syndra and Vial both committed. Can they get anything else off it? They can look to start up this Herald, but Rise will be here in time. In fact, Rise used ult to get to lane a bit quicker. So was really trying to make sure he was on the map to stop that Herald, and it does get stopped. Even brought up Kino. Kino also has managed to live that kind of time period where he didn't have flash, which is very, very nice.
Almost 6-2, so that'll, you have to imagine, play a big impact on this bottom lane. Makes it a lot harder for this duo of Rakan and Xayah to kill.
Herald is started up by Kongwei. They know they have the ult advantage, that Unleashed Power and Cease and Desist down. I think this is pretty nice for Beyond Gaming. Where they can actually put it, I'm not sure, but I think just denying it away, trying to get these snowballing lanes like the Aurelia to make sure they don't have a Herald is very nice. Dragon will be the trade from S9. And it's a pretty decent trade at that. I think you might even want the Dragon more here as the side of S9. Because it feels like the Herald isn't going to do a whole lot, although top is being looked at. They're bringing up 116, although he does not have the Rise ult.
Yeah, Rally are in a lot of trouble here. Cassante perhaps going a little early. Stun is now used. Cyclone will also be used here, and it will just be a kill onto Rally for Kyungye.
It is a kill picked up, and they can maybe even take plates after that. There will be a trade of bot plates, but I think this favors the side of Beyond pretty heavily. I think that top jungle can get... I'm not sure if they can get the whole tower. Herald is committed top, it looks like. It has been committed top. It's going to be a lot of plate gold going over. I think that's kind of what we were worried about, right? If you can't keep track of the Rise at all times, can just manage to go up top, even if he only has one wave of priority, certainly makes it count.
Yeah, and that was without Realm Warp too, so... I mean, impressive job to see the opportunity and take it. And also, Beyond Gaming respecting the fact that it can be answered on the bot side. Feng and Kino respectfully go back to their inner. And yeah, it was just a free kill really up top.
It's a kill, but the gold lead still goes the way of S9. Currently have CS leads in mid and AD, and top as well. Slight CS leads in all the lanes. S9 3-man here is in the river. Have to feel like they can now burst out pretty much everyone now they've got the damage. Even with Beyond, or even with 116's Catalyst, probably won't be enough to keep him alive now. Relia though, he's getting very low. Definitely tough to stabilize after falling in that gank. Has the lifesteal though.
Yeah, Lakai got good items now. You have to... I mean, we saw up top there, unless Relia took a tower shot, he is losing those trades. And on the other side, we do see Kyrez and YJY winning this bot lane.
Feng, he's clearing this up. It's pretty far behind in items though. Doesn't even have the Noon Quiver yet. Meanwhile, the Kraken is completed for Kyrez here. Who honestly has been looking pretty good on the Xayah.
I'm kind of surprised by the Kraken decision. I feel like Gale Force gives Xayah so much extra playmaking ability with that sort of beaver rip back.
I wonder if it's just thinking that no one else can really kill Cassante. I mean, Calumnia is building Leandris, which I think is probably the best option you have. But it's still difficult, obviously, to kill. Cassante is extremely tanky. Oh, could be a 2v2.
Yeah, it is. Ult is used onto the Wukong. He does receive a wild growth, which keeps him alive just that much longer. He finds the kill there onto Fia, and now we'll find it onto Calumnia. Not quite.
Extremely well played from Kongwei as well off the back end of that. Got the Lulu ult and then knew that he could keep going. Calumnia very narrowly gets out. I think the Rise ult probably could have been saved until after Flash was used, but tried to use it preemptively. Did result in him getting out. But now it could be another 3-man top on the cards here. With Calumnia dead, there's no mid priority, so 116 is allowed to leave at any time. Relia, he doesn't want to walk away from another wave and lose his tower, but the alternative is death.
Yeah, and they are going in. Who tanks it up? It will be Lakai. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't Lakai. 1116 does, but they do manage to find that kill. First blood tower as well, and you have to feel like it's going to be so hard for Aurelia to have much of an impact on this game from here on out.
Taking a look at this skirmish, it looked like Kongwei was almost dead, but the flash heal ult comes out of Kino, and then really well played from Kongwei, just flashback in. I think 116 should have saved this Realm War until we'd seen which direction Calumnia committed to. Ultimately, it's still a really big win, and Liga actually invested his TP bot. I'm not sure if there was a dive started up here or what. Looks like Fang was very low in health and had to flash, so not too sure what happened there. But he does manage to live, and they could actually be in trouble. No sums on YJY.
Yeah, Lakai does find that stun. Is taking a lot of damage. Well, actually, to be honest, he didn't take much damage at all, but took a lot of auto attacks.
Damn, even the Kraken Slayer Doesn't do any damage to the Cassante. So tanky and got so accelerated from that top tower. And the gold lead now slightly in the side of Beyond Gaming here. Leandri still hasn't been picked up for Calumnia on the Syndra, which is pretty delayed, but has built a lot of other items. Actually went for the Sork shoes. Kind of interesting. Guess it makes sense. Also has the Tier and the Dark Seal. So just a lot of gold invested into other components that will scale well, but at least for the time being, it's going to be a bit weaker. 116, I think he has Flash.
It should be, well, we do pan away from it, but Aurelia was, starting up trades there in the top side.
One thing I want to quickly mention is that Kongyue, once again, has 100% of his team's KP, seeing 3-0-0. And while First Dragon has gone the way of S9, I think they should feel pretty confident on the side of BYG that they can contest this. Although S9 are the ones starting it up. It's going to be a 4v4 with both of the kind of weak team fighters in the side lane.
Yeah, massive item difference for the AD carries here, but Lakai is so scary. Wukong does secure it. Lakai looking for Fia, will get knocked back, and three-man Cyclone. Nice ult by Zaya to dodge it out. One kill traded, and it looks like a disengagement, although Aurelia has teleported in. Does land the stun on Kino. He'll go down to Kyrus as well. So 2 kills there, found by S9, but Dragon found for Beyond.
Pretty good. I think, I'm not even sure who it's better for. I feel like S9 getting a second kill on Zaya is really, really nice. At the same time, Feng managed to pick up a kill. Let's take a look at the replays. So I think it looked, honestly, really good at the start for BYG. They managed to secure this Dragon. They get some kind of re-engage on Fear, doesn't have Q. They get this really nice knockup, but Kerez, he manages to Zaya ult this and gets, huge damage off the back end there. And then Relia, neither top laner had TP at the start of this, but Relia managed to walk all the way down the map. Just managed to clear up. And also importantly is that 116 didn't trade anything. He was actually just based. So yeah, unfortunately didn't manage to get anything. And S9, they're doing a reasonable job. Both their carries have reached, reasonable spikes. Taking 1-1 of the Dragons. It's certainly not looking like a 2-13 team up against a 9-6 team right now.
Yeah, no, S9 definitely doing well, and perhaps it's that bot lane trade we see. Like, we haven't seen, we've seen these two in the bot lane, but in swapped positions, and you have to be impressed. Kyrus is playing extremely well.
YJY also isn't doing too bad for himself. 0-1-3. Hasn't had any huge Rakan playmaking moments yet, but I'd be really curious to hear what the decision-making was behind the swap anyway. They just wanted a change or something, I'm not too sure. This could be another 5v5, although Relia is currently under his tower clearing a wave. Everyone else, though, seems pretty keen to fight.
Yeah, Lakai does have that knockback ready. Won't find anything.
This is... Ooh.
Nice, and wow, that's a 4-man knockup, followed by a second one. It hasn't found anything yet, but Zeri has now started her ult. She is running very, very fast. Maybe YJY does get out as Aurelia joins the fight a bit too late here. But my goodness, what an explosive start. Just a 4-man knockup followed by another 4-man knockup.
Another massive engage found there from Kongyue and Kino. I feel like the Wukong ult into the Lulu ult has just been insane. Cyclone Wild Growth really just putting the team fight on their back. Likai, Aurelia cancels the base. Can he do anything into him? He's going to try.
He will, but will anything? Yeah, he's really doing a lot of damage here. Lakai smartly waits until that stun is used, doesn't commit the W.
Does manage to get his base off. I kind of want to see a replay. I'm not sure how Calumnia died in that fight. I guess he just died in kind of what was the one-move combo engage. Because he has a lot of damage, especially as that solo AP needs to stay alive because there's so much armor, especially on this Cassante, that at least before Kerez can get something like the LDR, just can't deal enough damage to actually take him out. Gold remains pretty even, though, as well as the Dragons, so still anyone's game at this point. Have to say, though, recently, big wins for BYG in that last fight.
No doubt, and man, this game's really, really close, and honestly, S9 have had a couple of close games recently, but I'm liking the different angle they've gone for, and without this massive team fight capability from Beyond, you'd have to think they'd have a solid lead, but Zeri has picked up 3 kills, so doing well for herself. As Rift Shield used bot, Lakai, quickness actually committed by YJY, so BYG can feel a lot safer here.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be up for the Dragon fight, which is pretty big, although League doesn't have his Ghost, so 2 pretty big cooldowns committed. Mid tower is broken here. And Fang quietly is scaling up really nicely. It's only a little bit behind Carriers in terms of gold now. The second item, the Navori, has been picked up by Xayah in time for this next Dragon, which I think both teams should definitely be looking for a contest on. Looks like this tower will get picked up. Gold share between Kongyue and 1116 here. And once again, 100% KP for the KP King in the jungle, Kongyue. I don't know how he does it, just every time.
I guess it's a team thing, right? Like, their team sort of waits for him to dictate where a fight will happen or, you know, how it will start. So, and I mean, in this game as well, he has been going in, landing massive cyclones followed by the wild growth. So instead of sort of using that Lulu to protect this area as, I guess, is more traditional, being used more as an engage tool to follow up with Kongyue, as we see 3 people headed towards Lakai. Actually doesn't quite buffer that CC block. All Out will get him a far distance away, but he will be going down, unfortunately, to YJY.
It is picked up. Interesting. So playing for the trade, don't want the Dragon fight. I wonder if they thought they could get a clean kill and just start up the Baron, because otherwise, I feel like it's not much point to it. Kolumnia, though, is in big trouble.
Yeah, Cyclone committed here. Kolumnia will be going down. Another kill over to that Wukong.
Very weird play from S9. I think if you commit that many members top, it's so you can either keep pushing top or so you can look for something like Baron after. Instead, you just end up giving up that kill, and I think they lost the mid tower too. And now going to lose this Dragon. So I think S9, despite being in a relatively good spot, just kind of gave a lot of it away.
Yeah, we see them behind in gold now, importantly, and second Dragon now picked up from Beyond, so I mean, Beyond do scale well into this game. Relia does use teleport, is seen on a ward, so we'll have to see how BYG want to react to this. They are going to be extremely late, a lot of damage.
I think this might be a fight after angle. I think the Baron is already gone. Kongyue is so far away.
Yeah, Baron is taken. Now, can they get away? It would be massive. Quickness committed. He doesn't find anyone with that knock-up. He will go down. We see Zeri getting so excited. Relia finds Lulu and doesn't go down just yet, although will be found now by Kongyue.
To the side of BYG, managed to find 2 and trade away 1. I'm surprised that S9 just didn't try that before, though. Like we said, when they were committing members top, it felt like Baron always was on the cards. You have so much DPS. Instead, just backed away and wait until the possibility of Beyond actually contesting it. And while I still think this is pretty nice for S9, losing 2 members does feel bad. So TP is committed very early, and it's basically spotted out straight away here from Beyond Gaming, but they're just so far on the other side of the map that they can't really get here in time. Also, I think really clutch EW onto the quickness that comes out of the Rakan here. Did not have the flash, and was taken out without really finding anything. So while Garrus has looked kind of good on the Xayah, can't say the same about the Rakan right now. And Relia, he tries to do what he can. He takes out Kino, who did use both sums in this fight, but unfortunately flashed away. Doesn't manage to make it out.
And I'm kind of surprised, honestly. They picked up the Baron. YJY, at least, obviously he did use that Shirelia's, but he could also then just hop over the wall and keep 1 extra Baron alive.
A little bit of poke, lands on the Feng. He gets stunned.
It's very low here. Mid tower will be going down as well, so Feng has to be so careful. Opted not for that Bloodthirster, but for a Runans instead.
Now, this Baron still has a full minute, but can S9 get something done with it? I don't think so. Probably have to base and answer this top wave, although they might try force some sort of engage on mid wave, try and make use of what is a pretty strong team fight, especially at this point in the game. Yeah, they're not answering the top wave, so they want to either keep pushing or find some sort of fight here. Looks like they're playing for the fight. 116 is in trouble. Ooh, narrowly gets out. Nice flash back into the Rise ult there.
So risky. If he had got hit by anything there, he would have just been going down and losing flash.
I think he had to, though. If he kept running, would have been chased down eventually by the Viol. So yeah, risky play, but did end up getting him out. Most likely, that will be the end of it for the Baron pressure, and we'll instead just be waiting for this next dragon here in a couple minutes. Should still see both teams looking for some sort of contest, especially since Baron will not be up this time. Will just most likely be a 5v5 contest, and I think, I want to say both teams have a fair shot at winning the fight, but BYG have been playing fights better. I think YJY really needs to find some sort of flank on this Rakan. I don't think it's enough just to run straight at them. I mean, they've got a great position so far. Oh, they find...
Old found here onto Kino, and he might just be caught out here, running for his life. Wild Growth is used, stunned actually by Scatter the Weak. Really nice find there on the back end by Calumnia.
Nice pickup. Kino did have no sums. I think the kill doesn't really turn into anything else, and the kill was picked up by Fear. So it's certainly better than nothing, but doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. You don't really think so. Resets will come in to try and make sure everyone's as set up as possible for this next drag. BT has actually completed for carries here. The most fed member in the game, and now 3 items. I mean, definitely has the potential to carry this fight. For me, a lot of it has to be on YJY as well. Really needs to find some impact with this Rakan engage. I don't think it's enough to kind of just be a passenger in this game.
It is somewhat surprising to me that that Keres has opted for the Bloodthirster first. You have to feel like Lord Dominic's regards could have been potentially better in this circumstance, considering they do have so much AD on their team, as well as they're against, you know, the Wukong, the Cassante. There's a lot of armor to pierce through, and there's not a whole lot of poke here that you have to sort of lifesteal against.
It is interesting. I guess maybe just feels like it's too difficult to play the fight after the Wukong engage. It's just going to be too low, so wants to stay topped up. A lot of members around mid here now, trying to find something.
Yeah, Fear and YJY positioning aggressively, but here comes another 4-man knockup found by Kongyue. Is charmed by quickness, as we see Relia sort of teleporting in the back. Could be very dodgy. Does get knocked up to immediate stopwatch. Vi has found a nice engage, as Lakai goes low here in the background. 4-man Scatter the Weak found here by Calumnia. Low health bars across the board. And man, 1116, very, very tanky. Zeri still hitting away with the passive proc as Kongyue might find an angle.
They're all so low.
Oh, doesn't get the invis over the wall, hits the emote, and a 750 gold shutdown found by Calumnia on the back end.
Feng did get sniped by that Syndra W at the end. I think if Feng had just played for the reset, this would have just been Dragon going the way of Beyond Gaming, but now dying to Syndra at the end makes it a bit dicier, and it looks like it will actually be S9 who pick up the drag. And Feng is still dead for 20 seconds. Could they look at Baron? Perhaps don't have the time. But man, what a crazy fight. So the way it starts off, Kongyue once again finds an insane engage, and it's crazy to me that continually finding these and there just isn't the follow-up to kind of make use of it. Both teams' ADCs trying to kite back. A lot of stopwatches used in the front line just to kind of buy time. And then Feng, you know, gets CC'd, is forced to flash out, but feels good kiting away. Massive Syndra stun comes out from Calumnia, as well as the really nice ult from Relia. And everyone was just so low in this fight. It looks like Beyond Gaming have kind of got what they wanted. They've managed to escape, but then Feng off the back end is getting a bit too greedy. Just dies to a random Syndra W.
Yeah, pressure now for S9 around this Baron, which you have to feel like will be the next point of contention. And importantly, almost no summoners anywhere, although both supports as well as Aurelia do have flash up. And
I'm starting to question, once again, why Beyond Gaming was willing to give the Rakan. It just feels like it makes the Zarya Rakan combo so much better. And while he hasn't found the best engages, it just makes dealing with Zarya that much more difficult. Baron is up, and both teams have a lot of DPS for it. Actually, just a 5v5 ARAM. No one cares about side lanes. The side lanes are pretty good for Beyond, though.
Yeah, we have seen sort of S9 willing to give up top farm quite often this game, and generally you don't want to do that because it's so much potential gold that you're missing out on.
Vikai is going to be the one the face check. Rise ult's used. Oh, he actually took it.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think he
is now
intended
stuck
to.
in that Baron pit, but will flash out. But that's a huge summoner to be down, and now it's up to Kongyue. Will he even get there in time? I honestly do not think so. And a free Baron again for S9, but there might be a fight on the backside. Fia looking. Does get slowed.
Yeah, no flash on this Rise.
Engage onto Rise. That is a massive 3-man follow-up, but Wild Growth found. He is still alive there in the background. 116 putting out a lot of damage as All Out finds... Sorry, Fia on the back, and Relia will go down 2. It is now a 2-4-0, and they are on the wrong side of the map. So S9's a bit like pigs in cages here, as Lakai looking for something on the back. Kongyue sped up.
Well, they're trying to get out. They still have the Syndra ult.
Man, this is such a tedious thing to navigate. Kira's waiting, possibly looking for something. Kongyue, quick reflexes there out of that knock-up. 1116 will find a route, although Kira's is finding everyone. Nice dodge by Feng, but Kino now stuck in the back as well.
Yeah, Kira's is giving me Wako vibes, which isn't something I would have said a week ago. Just destroyed that team fight. Actually started off really bad and managed to turn it around with some really nice play. So far, I have to say the role swap is looking really, really good for the side of S9. They have this Baron now. What can they get done with it? Only a minute and a half left on this Dragon and the Baron. 116 did not intend to take this Rise ult, I don't think. Was just checking for the vision and then was forced to flash straight away, which doesn't feel too good, but did manage to get himself out. And I think the engage on the 116, it's tempting to go on him because he doesn't have flash, but I think he's ultimately just not as impactful as Feng is on the Zeri. And once the Vial is kind of used onto Rise, he just buys too much time and just isn't that important in the grand scheme of things, right? In fact, Feng, I think, maybe even went a bit too far away, but was pretty much free hitting the entire fight, and that's why it went so well for the side of BYG here. Off the back of it, though, chasing into these three champs, Zyra, Khan, as well as Syndra, very difficult champs to chase. It certainly made BYG work for it.
Yeah, still 12 kills on the side of BYG, and 100% of them have been contributed by Kongyue. So having such a big impact, and honestly, without him, you have to feel like this game would have been so much harder to stay in contention. They are now behind. S9 has slightly gained a lead. It is only 3k, so nothing too drastic, as Dragon is spawning in the next 20 seconds.
I think this should just go the way of S9. They have themselves a gold lead, which we've seen them throw before. But I'm feeling pretty confident with my gold in the carries basket right now. It's been playing the team fights very, very well.
Yeah, LDR also finished, which is a massive power spike now for that Xayah.
Fear. Last comes over this. Should just be drag picked up. Will BYG try contest? I think face checking is too hard. There's no trade either. They sort of want to fight, but I think S9 should just win this.
Yeah, Vi does find an engage onto 116 again, but as you said, this gives the opportunity now for Feng to be a lot safer in these fights. Quickness used, again onto 116. Another massive engage by Kongyue. YJY found on the back. Fia may be the next to go, although flashes out. Aurelia into the middle of 5 of them. Feng is now just wailing on this back line, but Scared of the Week does hit, and Aurelia is able to find that kill.
And he carries so far has done 9,000 damage in this team fight. Looks like Kongyue goes down to the Leandries and will be picked up at the very end here. Wow, I think kind of crazy how these fights are going. I think BYG almost had it that time, but couldn't quite manage to deal with the Scout of the Week in such a kind of tight choke. I feel bad for Kongyue, who's found probably more amazing Wukong engages in one game than most Wukongs have found this entire split. I mean, he's been having a phenomenal game, but the S9 carries doing so well. Once again, I feel like the initial Vial honestly isn't that good, but I think the fight just being in this corridor is so good for both Calumnia and for Keras. Can just deal so much damage. Yeah, Kongyue really tries his best, but there just is no follow-up. And once they start following S9 through this area here, it becomes so easy just to deal so much damage here. Really nice scatter of the week. Finds Feng as well at the very end. So close. I think S9, it's once again similar to their game against DCG. It's their game to win, but can they manage to close it out? Something that the team has struggled with time and time again.
I have to say, if BYG can't find this win with the amount of amazing, honestly, initiations Kongyue has found, like some of these angles only he would find in this league. It is so impressive how well he's been playing. I don't know, if you can't win with this, you're gonna struggle in the playoffs. You have to say it. I'm surprised.
It is crazy because I feel like maybe the follow-up just isn't there. It is kind of a kite-back comp. At the same time, the engages, like you said, they've been so legendary that I almost feel like it just should be a Team 5 win straight up, but it just hasn't. It hasn't converted into that. Now, 2.5 minutes on what will be the 4th drag for S9. Baron's up in 10 seconds, and I think BYG have potential to just look to one-shot it. There are pings going on to it, as well as the mid-wave. S9 though, yeah, okay, it is started up. I think S9 though are very aware this time.
Yeah, and Kongyue, importantly, not in that pit. He's looking for something a bit spicy. I imagine is seen by that ward there, and in fact he is. Fia getting chunked a little bit down there at the bottom side of your screens.
Yeah, they're committing onto it still. No flash on Feng.
Yeah, doing it way slower than the side of S9 did when we saw the reverse of this situation. Lakai happy to tank up for now. Is just trying to, you know, proc that Q. Kongyue looking for something, possibly not what he's looking for, but still manages to find 3. 1116 is forced to flash with that Lulu speed and just boosted out of there. And now Baron started for the side of S9, but can they do it? Lakai still half health.
I think they've got it. I don't think Beyond Gaming have enough threat remaining. There's no Wukong. What can deal with carries here? He's still full HP and has the BT overheal.
116 teleporting back in, and Kongyue fired almost into the pit there. Kind of scary the distance you get, as Baron will now be finished by S9. I believe that's the 3rd, am I correct, of the game?
Definitely feels like a few of them, and I mean, Kara is just having such a great game here. There's no one that can deal with him, especially after the Wukong ult comes out. It feels really tough here because having the Rise versus the Syndra means that your backline kind of gets out DPS, which means you need to go forward. At the same time, going forward, even if Kongyue finds these ults, you just can't kill Kerez. There's too much peel and just too much strength on the Xayah. It makes team fighting here really hard. Now only 20 seconds away on this 4th drag. They've got the control. They've got the Baron. What more do S9 need to get this win? Really, just one more team fight.
Yes, stun landed onto Lakai, will go unstoppable. Ult is used here by Vi. Lakai is really tanky, potentially not who you want to go onto, but all out is used. Maybe he can get away because of that, but Kongyue into the backline, finds another 3. He does get extremely low here as Xayah ult, importantly, it was used, so Kira's a lot more vulnerable. YJY very low.
All the lifesteal coming in from Kara. Some resets will come out. S9 though, I think they've gotten their 4th drag.
Yeah, this will be the soul, and I don't think you caught that, but after the Baron was taken by S9, for some reason Lakai used his teleport to get back to base completely unnecessarily, which could have played a part here. If he could have teleported and then come back, maybe they look, but you have to think now, S9 are in such a commanding position, I don't really see how they lose.
Yeah, I mean, look at their carries, both so strong. Syndra has all the items she needs to be relevant. Carries is virtually unkillable and remains with the flash. Only 1 minute left on this Baron. Can they break the base with this one? I'm not totally sure. This game might be going the distance. But, yeah, you're right. I think it's very hard to see S9 lose. Once again, another massive Wukong engage found. And there's just no follow-up. Not enough DPS. I think S9 almost can't lose at this point.
Very hard to. I mean, maybe Void Staff can make a difference. LDR was just completed by Feng, so perhaps if Wukong is just allowed to go in and die, especially sorry, with this GA up, you could probably look to protect Feng a little bit more with the Lulu. Because, I mean, Konyue's found about as much as he possibly ever could, and it hasn't worked, so you have to look somewhere else, you feel.
I think they're
He
trying
is
to
looking,
engage.
doesn't hit anyone this time, eventually finds Calumnia, but will immediately be into that GA as Feng is trying to hit. Relia teleports into the back line. Feng is scattered the weak, knocked up and goes down. Will be followed, well, I mean, Lakai takes no damage, but he does no damage, so... All right, we're pushing through to the Nexus now. Relia will be found on the back end, but the game is just over. S9 find the... Oh, maybe they can look, but... Calumnia finds a nice scatter of the weak. BYG quite low, is knocked up, and Kira is still fine on full health, just essentially untouched.
Karius just ends every fight on full HP, so it doesn't even matter. The members of Beyond Gaming trying to deal with them somehow, but it's just not enough. Once again, deals a monster amount of damage in the team fight. And it looks like the role swap coming out of S9 proves to be successful as they stop Beyond Gaming from securing their playoff spot, at least for today. Still only need one win, but that was insane. And one thing I have to really question from the side of 111, or from the side of BYG, is just the Ari ban, right? It feels like the Rakan ban was obvious. Perhaps the Syndra ban is way better. It feels weird. You know, obviously the game isn't decided by one ban, but it felt so obvious, and giving that over was really strange. And I also think we did kind of see the weakness of Ryze in that game, right? Playing something short range means that if you do go to those later game team fights, naturally you're just not going to have as much impact. And I felt like he found pretty good impact early, right? Did snowball top lane pretty aggressively. Rel here felt like mostly was a non-factor other than a couple of key team fights. But yeah, I really felt like it is so weird to look at that game. I feel like Kera's just kind of 1v9'd. Calumnia also had great performance, putting out a lot of damage. So, I mean, if we see more of that S9 this week, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and they'll be excited to see what happens going into the next split too. But honestly, who do you think for MVP? Because I know they lost, but Kongwei.
Yeah, I could see giving it to Kongwei, honestly. I feel like it has to be Calumnia or Keras. Probably Keras. I think some of those fights put out some absurd